In rectangle sprint, forward progress is powered by an area calculation. It's a high-speed race where the faster you solve, the faster you move. Students advance across the board by drawing rectangles that represent their calculated math facts, competing to reach the finish line first. To begin, you will need the rectangle sprint board, a standard deck of cards, scratch paper for calculations, and writing utensils. Place the shuffled deck face down in the center. Each player draws one card to start, with the highest value determined as the first player. This tabletop setup shifts the activity into a social, competitive space, where every student is an active participant in the round. The number cards represent their face value, while aces carry a value of 1. Jacks, queens, and kings are wild. Players can choose any value for these cards up to a maximum of 15. On a turn, the player draws 2 cards from the center deck. These determine the length and width of the rectangle they are about to draw. For example, drawing a 5 and a 9 requires the player to multiply the two together, resulting in an area of 45 square inches. Accuracy is verified by the opponent. The player cannot draw their shape until their partner confirms the calculation is correct. This peer review step ensures that students are practicing mental math and self-correction throughout the entire game. This is the sprint board. Each player has a dedicated grid starting from the left, with a checkered finish line waiting on the far right. Once the 45-inch area is confirmed, the player draws that rectangle on the board, 9 units long by 5 units high, starting from the 0 mark. On following turns, each new rectangle must be drawn beginning exactly where the previous one ended. The board begins to fill with a chain of shapes, visually tracking how much territory the player has covered. This physical plotting makes the area calculations tangible, showing the player exactly how much progress they've made toward the finish. Strategic choices come into play when dealing with wild cards and high-value numbers. If player 2 draws an 8 and a king, they might assign the king a value of 10. This results in an 80 square inch move, allowing the player to cover a significant portion of the grid in a single turn. The first player to reach or cross the checkered finish line with their drawn rectangles wins the match. For a more difficult version, require players to land exactly on the finish line. If their final rectangle is too large to fit the remaining space, they must pass their turn. This hard mode forces students to analyze the remaining grid and choose wild cards strategically. By the end of the race, students have completed a high volume of area problems while verifying their partner's work. To encourage more discussion, use Math Talk sentence starters. These prompts help students verbalize why they chose a specific wild card or how they solved a difficult fact. You can adapt the game by removing face cards for younger students or requiring perimeter labels for an added challenge. Download the boards, grab a deck of cards, and start the race. When students debate their moves and explain their strategies, they are building communication skills alongside their arithmetic. Rectangle Sprint provides a framework for students to discuss math facts as they race toward the finish.